What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Beauty and the Bold. How are we all doing today?
I'm good. I'm wonderful because I'm
Oh
I'm
my
stroking, guys.
gosh.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
Tell him about how you're like the best basketball player ever.
I'm hands down the best basketball player right now. Sensational. Like Steph Curry would have a hard time dealing with me. Offensively, defensively, special teams, kickoff, punt return.
Steph Curry was having a hard time dealing with anyone last night. So.
Yeah, they looked old. They looked old for sure. But yeah, I was in a slump, and this goes to life. I really think this is like a life thing, and I've said this quote 1,000 times, but in life, it's not about whether you make the shot or miss the shot. It's about taking the shot, and metaphorically, you carry that over into any aspect of life. You're going to fail a lot. You're going to miss a lot of shots, but it's more about the quantity of shots rather than taking your time, being patient, waiting for the right opportunity, though that does play a role. But it's more about how many shots you take in life. And I failed so much in life, and I missed so many shots. Caitlin was like the first successful relationship I've ever been in. So I went through, thousands.
Successful.
What is your favorite part about being a mother? No, what is your least favorite part about being a mother?
Oh man.
Yeah.
My least favorite part?
Yeah.
The anxiety. The constant worry that I have that something is going to happen to my children.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like debilitating.
Especially when they stand on the edge of the couch and you're just like, no,
or
don't do
like
that.
when they're not with me,
Yeah.
I'm always thinking that something's going to happen. Or when I'm at the store and they're all home, I'm always wondering if they're alive. I don't know.
I got it.
I know you do. I know. It's my brain.
That's lack of respect for the husband.
That is not. Do
That's
not
what
make
that
this
is.
about you. It is not about you.
I don't feel that way when you have the kids, ever.
Well, that's because you're not a mother.
Now, I do feel like she's going to total the car and everyone's going to be dead. I do feel that way sometimes because I'm just like, man, what if she gets in a car accident? At least it's all of them at once. So
Oh my God.
that's better. Like, that's what you would rather happen,
No, it's just a constant, like sometimes I have to get up in the middle of the night to go check on our daughter to make sure she's still there.
Yeah.
Even though I have the monitor, but like I can't see her.
Correct. She has done that before.
I do that a lot.
He's talking about wrecking the car.
Oh, yeah, I've done that too. I've done that a few times, actually. I think I've only gotten in 2 car accidents. I totaled a car when I was 16. I was doing my makeup. And I'm so stupid. I told the cop I was doing my makeup. And that's why I rear-ended this guy. And then the second time I totaled the car was not my fault. It was not my fault. Someone ran a red light and hit me. If I would have looked both ways, I could have probably stopped it. Now, I would never let that happen to me again. I remember, too, when we were in Orlando, I was kind of in the same situation and driving across the road, and my light turned green, and I looked both ways like I always do. I take a second, and this car, if I would have gone, he would have hit me. Like, he ran the red light. So I avoided it. Good job.
Oh, that was another time. I thought you were talking about the time you I thought you were talking about that time because you didn't avoid that one.
No, I was talking about
okay.
my learning experience from that car accident.
Oh, yes. And that happened for me, too, because I got in a really bad motorcycle accident. I high pressure broke my femur, snapped it, and then inside. And then I had 48 staples from my hip all the way down to my big toe. I had 2 pins in my big toe. And I was riding my motorcycle, and this girl didn't see me. 19-year-old girl. She was turning left on a green light. I was going straight. So she had the ability to turn left, but she's supposed to yield for oncoming traffic. And she didn't see me, and I hit the car. And I was smart as I could be about the situation because I didn't have a helmet on. So I tried to stop the bike, And I didn't really have, it was a 1998 Yamaha bobber, and like I kind of slid like this, and I was like, oh no. So I just let go of the handlebars and I just covered my head, and I kind of dropped my shoulder into the side of the car. And I thought initially that I was fine, but as the car and my bike came together, my right leg was between it, and the quarter panel of the car stuck into my knee. And I pulled the quarter panel of the car out, and it twisted my femur and snapped my leg. So I hit the ground and rolled a little bit. I didn't go over the car, which was my intention. And I go to stand up, and my leg just boom, boom. And I hit the ground, and I grab my leg, and I just in shock, because I've never seen anything like that. I thought I was going to lose my leg initially. But once I started calming down a little bit, I noticed I was bleeding a little bit, and I was just screaming every mean possible name that I could think of. I used the C word. I used the B word. I was calling her a dumb, I was saying I was like, you.
She probably felt so bad.
Dumb. And she got out of the car, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But, it was a very profound thing for me. And this is very important. I think that everyone should think this way, is that when it happened, I immediately, over the next coming days, thought about why it was my fault. What could I have done differently to prevent the accident from happening? And a few days before that, my mom bumped into my bike and knocked it over, and my headlight was kind of down. It broke. It was kind of down to the left, so it was kind of facing the ground. So I'm like, okay, that would be my fault. I'm driving with the headlight out. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, I didn't really pay too much attention to her because I didn't believe that people would do something so stupid. Yeah. But when it happened, going forward, I always look. I never trust anyone.
What do they call it?
At any point.
A defensive driver?
Right.
And my dad always said that my whole life. And I was just like, okay, sure, I'll be a defensive driver. But after my accident, that wasn't my fault. I got it. I got it. I got what he was saying. I was like, okay, I need to be a defensive driver. And now I'm so hyper aware, I feel like, when I drive, because I will never let that happen to me again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things you cannot control. Like if you're driving on the interstate and a tire flies off a semi-truck and hits you, like that is something coming so fast. That's probably something you can't control.
That's actually one of my fears.
Oh, that's one of my biggest fears, because you've seen those videos of that happening, and the car flips and you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hate driving by semis for that, or any car, big trucks, anything, because when the axle breaks and the wheel comes off, icky. Never underestimate the stupidity of others. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you realize the more you go through life, the more experiences you have, the older you get. You'll be like, damn, there's a lot of dumb people in the world. And I remember, back to my dad, I remember him always saying stuff like that. He's like, you will never believe how many stupid people there are. And he's so right. And I hate saying that. My dad was pretty much right about everything he's ever said. Some things, I'm like, I don't know about that one.
No, when he met me, he's like, look at his eyes. See that dark? He said, those eyes got secrets in his eyes. What the fuck?
He said his eyes have secrets.
Like, what is that, Mark? You know what I mean?
But I think he said that because your eyes are so dark, sometimes they look almost black. Mm-hmm. His eyes do look like deep and he kind of looks soulless sometimes because his eyes are so dark.
It's because I'm the light that illuminates the darkness, so my eyes are a vast pit of despair and darkness. So I absorb.
I mean, he was kind of right. You do have like a past.
Yeah.
You do have.
But there was no secrets. You already knew. I told you everything right off rip. I was like, hey, I used to be a junkie, went to jail. I was a loser. Did. I'm kind of okay now.
Kind of.
Thanks for taking a chance on me. It worked out really well,
Yeah, you did, for sure.
I was always waiting on a woman to take a chance on me and just believe the words that came out of my mouth. Caitlin was the first ever to do it, so.
Sometimes he'd be saying some crazy stuff and some crazy dreams and plans. I'm like, okay, you got it. And like, he normally gets it done.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Like the comedy stuff is probably crazy for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really nerve-wracking for me because I wanted you to succeed in that so bad. I wanted to do such a good job, but I was also very nervous, but I didn't want it to show you how nervous I was because I know you needed my support.
Yeah.
And you did a very good job. I was very proud of you for that.
I'm excited to go back Wednesday. We're going back.
Yeah.
We're going to knock it out of the park this time. I've been mentally visualizing, and I think that's very important for anything in life is like you may not be necessarily always practicing certain things, but brainstorming and visualizing a goal, a future that you desire
manifesting
is very important.
That's what that is.
You know, I put myself in imaginative situations quite a bit, and I have imaginative conversations and groups of people. I prepare myself for the room that I want to be in. And I think that when I finally get into that room in different occasions, I'm able to calm down and visualize and do the things that need to be done. Yeah. And I think that's very important. You may not always be writing down or, you know, going through the motions of something, but if your imagination is very valuable. If you're brainstorming, you're understanding where you want to be, I think that's halfway there. So
that's what I did when I gave birth to Aurelius. I mental prepped myself to do my natural no pain medication births, and I just envisioned over and over again what I want it to be like and how I want to experience it and what I'm going to do to get through it, and it went exactly the way I planned. So definitely just envisioning and basically just proclaiming it to be true.
Yeah, someone said, someone on YouTube was like, just get a joke book, then you'll just be as clever as they are. They've never said anything original. Like, I feel like our jokes are not like everybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People who say stuff like that are so miserable.
Like, do you guys feel like our jokes are just rip-offs of other people's jokes? Obviously, everything that we are is based on our surroundings, our education, our experiences, so the words and stuff that I've heard and used and the terms and the way I address jokes is obviously something I picked up along the way of my beautiful life. So I guess to some extent, like the alphabet, you speak a language that was already created. Like you stole those letters and you made your own language. It's weird. People are weird. So
I have a different outlook. While never underestimate people's stupidity, never overestimate your intelligence. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely an idiot, so
you
I get it.
You always have the capacity to learn something. Mm-hmm. Every day you should try to learn one more thing, is what my father always said, and he was right.
And I think real stupidity is not having the willingness to understand that you're not going to know everything, and the eagerness to want to know everything. And I think those are very valuable traits.
That's what Adeline, our 5-year-old, I do admire so much about her. She's always so willing to learn something. She has so many questions, and she genuinely wants to know the answer to those questions. Yesterday, she's asking me, how is the Grand Canyon made? And I explained to her the river and the erosion, and then we watched a YouTube video about it, and now she can tell you all about how the Grand Canyon is made. But she's so willing to learn and absorb information. And sometimes I think if adults were as childlike in that manner and absorbed information and were so open-minded and willing to learn, we wouldn't be so just divided all the time. There's so much to learn and absorb. And I realized that once I got to college, because I grew up in a small town. Everyone's very opinionated. You have your opinions forced into you at a very young age, and that's just the way it goes, And if you have a different opinion, it's like, outcast. And you're not supposed to be very open-minded. And then when you get to college, it's kind of like a different world. You meet people from all over. Everyone has a different opinion and life, and you also start to go through life yourself and experiences slap you in the face. And I think that's when I started to become really open-minded, is when I was basically just hit through life when I had Adeline. And now I feel like I am able to be very open-minded to pretty much anything anyone says. Someone could tell me something absolutely insane going on in their life, and I'm going to be like, all right, cool. I'm not judging. Like, I'm trying to see where you're coming from. unless you like eat people or murder or something, then we're probably not going to get along. But yeah, I think.
Well, are they already dead? Or are they like killing them and eating them? Because you got to be open-minded, you know? Just kidding. JK.
But I do genuinely think that we all need to be more just childlike in the way of being able to be open-minded and willing to learn. I do. I think it would really stop a lot of the ignorance and division and hatred that goes on in this world.
There's actually a really good quote in Step Brothers about this. He says, never lose your dinosaur.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I have a shirt that we got that says Boats and Hoes. And it's Will Ferrell and what is the other guy's name?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But it's the two stepbrothers.
I think that my least favorite part about having a family is, you know, just the responsibility to them. Oh,
yeah.
You know? And then even when they're wrong, you have to love them. And it's tough, you know?
Well, I don't think that it's so much the responsibility as it is the pressure of the responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I do think you like having the responsibility.
Yeah.
And you like being a provider. But I think that the pressure of providing is sometimes a lot. Mm-hmm. Some men can't handle it, but you can.
Thank you.
And that's something that you should be, you know, very proud of. Because some women are not cut out to be providers. Yeah.
And I could never do the job that she does. I know we've talked about this so many times.
I'm so sick of people telling me that I don't sacrifice anything to be a mother. And then if I say that I sacrifice, then I don't like motherhood.
It's not true. It's not true because the sacrifice that a woman makes to have children is like her life is on pause and her only thing that she can do is hold these screaming little babies. And we're talking about newborn to 2 years old, 3 years old. Mm-hmm. You know, that is such a strenuous job for a woman. I personally, as a man, you know, I could never do it all the time. Like my youngest is so needy and I have to hold him. And if I hold him and sit down, he screams. If I'm not holding him and pacing in the direction that he likes, he's screaming. And if I want to lay down and watch TV and have him sit next to me, he's screaming. Yeah. So I personally could not do that as a woman. And I know every kid's different, but Raylan, our second daughter, she screamed all the time.
She was like that too.
But her stomach hurt. Yeah. Like she kept throwing up a lot or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So that was tough.
Well, and I've said this so many times, but we've just posted another video about me talking about the sacrifice it is to be a stay-at-home mom when you had a career plan, but then you changed and you decided to stay home for your kids and to put that on hold for a second. And I looked up the definition of sacrifice just to make sure I was using the correct word. And the definition of sacrifice is to give up something of value for something deemed more valuable. Okay? A career, something of value. A job, making money, something of value. Putting that aside for something that is more valuable, as in raising your children and being at home and homeschooling them and taking care of the house and doing all of that. To me, that is a sacrifice, and I don't understand where the negativity of that word comes into play here. I think so many people put so much negativity on the word sacrifice, when sacrifice should really be a beautiful thing. It shouldn't be like so negative and people saying, "Ugh, sacrifice. I don't want to make a sacrifice." Sacrifice should be something that is humbling and a beautiful experience and brings you, I feel like, more worth and joy to yourself. Because as much as it does pain me to not do the job that I wanted to do, this job that I do at home is more fulfilling than anything else I could go do. I am raising the next generation. I am creating beautiful, smart human beings who I hope have some impact on the world one day. And I think that sometimes we don't give parents, mothers in general, as much credit. Sacrifice is not negative. It's okay to say that you sacrifice something to be a mom. That's what if you aren't sacrificing anything to be a mother or a parent, you probably aren't parenting correctly. Like I do think you have to sacrifice stuff to be a good parent. It's not about you no more at all. It can be kind of about you. You can go have your fun, but it's
I honestly don't think that working is that hard. Now, I think that sitting behind a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day is extremely hard because I hate it. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't think the working in general is hard, but I do think having to be a sole provider, that is hard. That's pressure and that's difficult.
I got to move around. I'm a move arounder.
Oh my gosh, this man be pacing across the house 24/7.
If I'm not doing something, I'm pacing.
Yesterday, I don't know what, I was putting the kids in the bath. He's like, I'm going to go disappear. I was like, okay. He's like, I can't just sit and do nothing. I have to go do something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And I got the new Star Wars game. Okay. I got to finish it. I've been waiting for this game for like a year. So.
And it's okay. It's no big deal. My mom said she sacrificed her sanity.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You can definitely go a little insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy, though, to kind of gain it back because I just need an hour or two away. And then I come back a brand new person, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm still a human.
If you could sleep with any famous person in the world and I didn't exist, you got to pick, who would you pick?
I'm not answering that question. Like a hall pass kind of thing?
I don't exist.
You don't exist.
Right.
Then I don't want to sleep with anyone else.
No, don't lie. Don't lie to everybody right now. Tell me the truth. Who is he? So I can find him. Who is it?
I don't maybe I'm weird, but I don't look at men who are attractive and think, oh, I want to sleep with them. That's not what goes through my head. So I don't know. I don't have someone that's like that. Because normally the first time you're having sex with someone, it's not like a very enjoyable experience because they don't know, like, especially for me at least, because like they don't know my body and what works. So I can't answer that. Now, if we're talking like the man knows my body and everything.
Yeah. Who is it then? You know, I get that because the first time you sleep with someone, it's all downhill after that.
Andrew.
What?
I feel like that is so, wow.
No, go ahead. Who's this
man?
No,
that's how you feel.
No, who's the man?
Okay, sure. I have a whole list. Do you want me to go down my list?
Yeah, go down the list.
I honestly don't know. I don't want to disrespect these men if they have wives. I don't want to answer this question.
They cheat on their wives all the time.
Not all of them.
Yeah, they all go to Epstein's Island.
Oh my God.
So it's like a thing.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like celebrities that I find attractive, I think Jason Momoa is very attractive.
I'm going with prime Angelina Jolie.
She's beautiful.
Prime though.
Yes.
Like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
She's also just like such a good person.
Prime Angelina.
I get that. That one's fine. I get that.
Amy Smart was really cute when I was growing up, which you kind of look like her. So.
I used to crush on Zac Efron a lot when I was in high school.
And he looks weird now.
He doesn't look like that
plastic
now.
surgery.
Yeah, he's changed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tiny Hands Burrow.
I used to like Channing Tatum a lot.
She would definitely sleep with Matt Rife.
No,
Oh my God.
I would not sleep with him.
You couldn't even lie.
Listen to me. I was doing that face because there's a clip of him talking about like him having, and he doesn't know what to do with his hands and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's like, so I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't think so.
Matt Rife, if you're listening to this at any point, I will find you and I will hurt you and you're not funny. So.
You can't say that. He's very funny.
He's not funny. You're not even good looking.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Your hair makes you look weird.
Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer? I mean.
It's a total hate. Yeah, Matt Rife doesn't like younger women.
He likes MILFs. You have 3 kids, so you're a MILF.
I know, but I
you're
don't
not
consider
a young
myself
prime anymore.
I don't consider myself a MILF because I'm only 24.
But
I feel like MILFs are
MILF is mom, I
know, but like older women.
MILFs are not, those are GILFs. Those are cougars.
What the fuck is a GILF?
Grandma.
Oh. Okay. So would I be a MILF?
Yeah, you're a MILF. You're not a cougar. You're a MILF.
But I'm only 24.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not a part of the rules.
Well, I saw this thing on Facebook one time, and it said something like, "You're not a MILF, you're just a teenager with a baby." And I was like, damn. All right.
When we first met, she was actually trying out for Teen Mom.
I was not.
And,
first of all, I was 19 when I had Adeline. That's not even a teenager.
19.
Okay. The girls on Teen Mom are
19.
15, 16, and
I don't know why those girls got a show. They were so obnoxious.
that's why they got the show.
Like, I don't even think, like, one of them would...
Well, there's a few of them that have actually made it now, and they're, like, doing good. The one redhead, I think her name's Chelsea. Or Macy. Maybe there's Macy and there's Chelsea. I think both of them are doing, like, pretty good for themselves. One of them that had the twins, and then one has just one.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine being any younger than 19, though, having a baby. Like, I hear about the teen moms, 15, 16, 17, even 18. Oh, man. I cannot imagine being any younger than having Adeline any younger. It's just, it's hard. You're still a child, you know, raising a child.
Oh, if I would have had a kid before 30, I would have been a terrible father.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. I think that men should wait and mature. I mean, there's certain situations where I think men can have children young. You have the right situation, the right relationship. You've known the person. You know what you want. You've stepped into a good career. You have all the fundamental things. But I think for a maturity level going forward, I think men should be a little bit older. And I personally, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the maturity level of the woman. You know, but I think that men should be older.
Well, I have seen, not very many, but a few young teen dads be genuine, good dads. But it's just a different world because you're literally a child, you know?
Yeah, I think that it works out sometimes when you're young. And
a lot of times it can mature you, though. For me, I feel like that's what it did for me. When I chose to have Adeline, and then I had her, and I feel like as me and her kind of grew together, we grew up together. But right, like some people can do it. It just depends on you personally. But yeah, immature and having a child is a very hard comparison.
I say it's kind of base advice because I would have had children young. It just didn't work out for me. I just didn't find a vessel suitable for my seed. And it just didn't work out. I was partying and I was in the clubs and I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And it just didn't work out for me. So I just kept partying, you know. And then I kind of became like an introvert and just stayed at home all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was smoking weed, attracting people that smoked weed, and it just wasn't for me. It wasn't my thing, I guess. I just didn't see that. And then I met a couple diabolical women back to back that, you know, just didn't want to have kids. They wanted to party. And they wanted to break my heart, hurt me, you know. I
do, if I could go back, I do wish I would have done a little more work and a little more research and just really dived into like the type of parent I want to be instead of just winging it. I mean, I was 19. I'll give myself some grace. But I do think even if you find yourself in an unplanned situation, you decide to go forward and have the baby, and you want to be a mother or a father, you really need to focus before the baby gets here on what kind of parent you want to be, how you want to parent your children, how you want to raise them. Because I've kind of I wung it for the first few years of Adeline's life, and I feel like she kind of deserved a little bit better in the beginning compared to Raylan, and I see the differences in them at their age. Adeline, I feel like I coddled her a lot, and Raylan, I don't do that as much, and she's so independent, and she is so much more, what's the word, like brave, I guess you would say. Courageous. And you don't understand the impact that you can have on a child's personality between the ages of 0 to like 5 are so important developmentally for them for life. I mean, their whole life is, but from like the youngest ages are so important. And if I could do anything over, I would have really, really focused on child psychology, child development, types of parenting, the way to parent, and all of that, instead of just trying to parent the way my parents did, which they're great parents. Don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of stuff I do differently.
I don't have a degree in psychology or neurobiology, but I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of Stanford lectures on neurobiology and psychology, and I think it helps me to understand the dopamine reward system, what's going on fundamentally in your brain with your dendrites and all the chemical processes, and why you want what goal-oriented behavior does, you know, and desire, and understanding all of those functions. It's really helped me raise my children. Mm-hmm. So I think that's very important for raising children, is to understand some psychology, neurobiology, understand, you know, a little bit about free will and where we get the decision making that we have. Those are very important things to carry on to give to your children, not just for your family, but for the future of the people that we live around in society. You know, you make the world a better place through raising children really well like that. Someone said, nothing will destroy you faster than the wrong woman. And I believe that to an extent, but at the same time, all the wrong women in my life, I have I let them into my life. You know, I ignored the red flags. I was so caught up in, you know, the image of them and how tantalizing they were, because there's nothing more, you know, erotic and enticing than a toxic person, you know.
Yes.
And you think, oh, I'm going to make this person this way.
Change them.
I'm going to change them. I'm going to make it work. And it's just the biggest mistake that you can make. But it also, don't turn away from those mistakes. Some people do change, but you also get to learn a lot of quality lessons about yourself. Yeah, very rare, but people do change.
People do.
You know, and there's always that chance and that small hope. Aiming for that small hope, a lot of dopamine, a lot of serotonin. So I get it. Very addictive.
Yeah. Well, the thing is those type of people will put on a mask and be not toxic for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I see what you can be. Mm-hmm. And then they slip right back into themselves. And that is what keeps you hanging on, because you see when they're genuinely trying, and when they are trying to manipulate you into, this is the type of person I can be, blah, blah, blah. And you see that, and then so you kind of overlook how toxic and just absolutely terrible your relationships is, because you know you have this hope of what it can be because you've seen it for like a day or a week or even a month. And you hang on to that for so long. And for me, it just finally clicked in my brain one day. And I was like, I cannot wake up every day just hating my life. Like, I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And that was a turning point for me. But a lot of times women will emotionally and mentally like start to leave before they do physically. Mm-hmm. So I think that's
Is that why you've been a little distant?
No, I've been distant because our children are all over me.
She's on her period.
And yeah, that too. But
she hasn't been distant. That's a joke.
No, but I don't feel like that with you. When I met him, I knew I didn't have to fix him. And it was so relieving because you had fixed yourself. You were whole. You'd done the work on yourself. And I knew that I wasn't going to be wishing for a better you. Like, you are you whole, and I love every piece of you. And I mean, you can be a little toxic. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
See, when I met her, I knew through the conversations I had with her, the way she looked at me, I knew that all I had to do was just fatten her up a bit. And she was going to be perf. Turn this little cute girl into a lady, a woman, and I was going to have the best experience. I was very skinny
when I met him.
And it worked out great. So you're welcome.
I say thank you all the time.
See?
For feeding me.
See, I'm a good narcissist. Like that. Manipulated, groomed. Mm-hmm.
You teach your children to feel rewarded. That's a huge thing to realize. It sets up a person for life. Absolutely. So right now, one thing that I'm doing for Adeline, well, let me go back. This is something I did with Adeline that I should, my first child, that I wish I did not do. I would constantly just get her gifts, and every time I would go to the store, I would just get her stuff for no reason. There was no reason. I would just give it to her. So she didn't feel like she had to earn anything those first few years of her life. And I think it did give her a little bit of entitlement. It gave her a sense of entitlement, and we're just starting to get it out of her now. And I did it with good intentions. I genuinely tried to I wanted to make her happy. I loved her look on her face when I got her new stuff, but she didn't have to do anything to earn them. So now I'm pretty much everything she gets, she has to earn it in some way, unless we go get a treat. But a toy or something, she has to earn that. So like right now, you have to get your cartwheel and your handstand if you want one of the leotards at gymnastics, because these leotards are freaking $40, but they're like the good ones leotards. Mm-hmm. So she has to get her cartwheel and her handstand, and she has not stopped practicing this cartwheel and her handstand. And I just know that this is going to give her a sense of accomplishment. And then last summer when we did, if you dive to the bottom of the pool, you get a toy. Yeah. And we did that. And so that is something I wish I would have implemented more. Feel like we even do it for Raylan now, even though she's only 2. For example, like if you go on the potty, you get a piece of candy. If you go do this, you can have this. So like he was back to saying that dopamine reward system that really teaches. And my parents did that with us too. We never got anything just because. We had to earn almost everything, even our cars. I mean, they bought us cars, but we had to have good grades and work and do what they asked us and follow directions and stuff like that.
Yeah, that happened with me. I remember one summer my dad had the money to buy me a dirt bike, but he played a trick on me. And he's like, I need you to go mow grass all summer. And if you get 10% of the cost of the bike and the money, then I will buy you the bike. So I worked my ass off all summer, just slamming yards, knocking on everyone's door, mowing grass. It was so much fun. It felt so good. And I brought the 10% to him and he said, keep it, and went and bought me a dirt bike. So that was really cool. Yeah. That was a good experience.
I want to do that for our kids when they get a car. I want them to have to like work and save up for it. And I'm going to like make them think that they're going to pay for it and then be like, you keep that and here's your car. Just to give them but they worked really hard for it. And that's hard work. And the reward from hard work is such a valuable lesson you can teach anyone, especially young kids, because it breeds hard workers. And you need to be a hard worker to be successful in this life. It doesn't just come easy. Yeah. Even if you marry rich, normally the people that you marry rich want you to do something, take care of the house, do this, do that. You still have to be a hard worker in some aspect.
She didn't marry rich. Everything's in her name. She's the rich one. So you've mentioned before that you feel like people don't like you when you meet them. So why do you feel like people won't like you, especially when you meet new people? You talked about your anxiety and stuff like that. Why do you feel that way?
It's just a stupid insecurity I have. And I think it stems from I don't have a lot of friends, so I feel like it's my fault. Which I will say, I did not used to be the best friend in like high school. I thought that I was. When people would vent to me, I would respond and be like, oh my God, I went through the same thing. Here's what happened to me. Here's what I did. And I thought that by me doing that was me giving good advice and just relating to them. But it's not. I don't talk about yourself. If someone's venting to you, do not talk about yourself. Don't do that. But also when I got pregnant with Adeline, the senior year of my high school, I lost all my friends. I don't have a lot of friends. I had a very good lifelong friend that I was actually in the room when Adeline was born that I don't have anymore. So I've always kind of felt like me not having a lot of friends was like my fault. And it very well could be. But I've changed a lot of toxic things that I used to do. But sometimes I overanalyze everything I say and do. So sometimes I feel like I talk over people, but I just want to say something so bad. I'm like, oh yeah, let me, and sometimes I feel like I talk over people, or I talk too much, or I overshare too much. And I'm like, God, this person probably thinks I'm so weird. But it's really just my brain and being insecure, because I don't know a lot of people who genuinely say I don't like her. I don't know a lot of people like that. Yeah.
It's so funny because for me, it's like the opposite. You know what I mean? It's complete opposite, where I have anxiety because I don't think I'm going to like the person. I genuinely think that I'm not going to like the people I meet. I'm turned off by most people. And it's not necessarily, I suppose, a judgmental thing, but it's like they're going to be very opinionated. They're going to be very judgmental. They're not going to have a very wide perspective or understanding because they haven't walked the life that I have or been in the places that I've been in. And they don't understand people like I do. And I suppose that's my ego. But most of the time, I'm very turned off by the way people think. So I kind of keep to myself. I don't want to meet new people. I don't want to have conversations with people. But the internet has brought a lot of extrovertedness, I guess, out of me. So I'm very grateful for the internet and the social media people that we have because I'm able to talk and articulate things with them and see different perspectives, especially when the young community comes to us. I enjoy talking to young people who are full of hope and desire to better themselves, whereas people my age are just beaten down, broken, and hateful and have a lot of bad habits, and I'm not necessarily enjoying conversation with people like that. I don't want to have to try and fix everyone because I'm so busy working on myself because I'm such a flawed man myself, and I have so many things that I have to constantly reconsider and consider and become different and evolve, and I have children to worry about. Engaging in another person's personality is just so draining that I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I do think that is kind of a symptom of why I think people won't like me is because I feel like sometimes when someone else isn't on your same wavelength, you're just not gonna vibe, and I'm like, they're probably not gonna like that I don't want to go out and waste time. They're probably not gonna like the way I raise my children. They're probably not gonna like the things I do, stuff like that. So it's definitely just an insecurity I need to get over. But I do, like, I think hide it very well because I be talking to everyone. Like, and then that's another thing I'm like, I probably shouldn't have butted myself into that conversation, but I had something to say, and I thought those people were really cool. Like, I do that at gymnastics with the moms sometimes. I'll hear them talk, and I'm like, oh, yeah, like, my kids do that too, or that. And then afterward, I'm like, they probably didn't want to talk to me. Like, why did I just do that? But that's just not the case, and they probably didn't even think twice about it, but it's just my brain being stupid and probably some weird insecure thing that I need to just get over. Mm-hmm. That's why when my kids talk and have, like, their quirky things, I don't ever try to dim that. I don't want to dim it too much, you know, but also you want to teach them to be social.
There's one thing that gets
socially correct, but also, like, you want to let them still have their personality. Don't dim that light, I think.
Yeah, so there's one thing that gets me is, like, when they try to tell me stuff I already know about, or they try to tell me, do you remember this? Like, I was there.
Adeline does this thing, and she learns a lot of stuff, like I was saying, and she goes, the other day we're in the car, she's like, Mom, do foxes eat, I don't remember what she said, but she said, do they eat something? I was like, I don't know. She goes, they do. I was like, then why did you ask me that? She's like, I just wanted to give you the chance and see if you knew. And she's 5. I'm like, dude, okay. So that is something. I'm like, stop doing that. Just if you want to tell me the fact, just tell me the fact. Don't ask me if I know the fact or what, you know. But I don't want to dim certain personality aspects out of them to keep them confident. I don't want to do that, you know, so I don't want them to have the problems I do.
Yeah, I definitely don't want them to have the same problems I did.
Yeah, like, you want them to be confident. And that's why I do a lot of the affirmations. We'll be in the car, be like, okay, I am strong, I am brave, I'm kind. Because when you say that stuff out loud about yourself, you don't realize the power your words have. And especially, like, I'll go back to when I was preparing for giving birth to our 3rd child. I did a lot of just speaking out loud what I wanted, what I was. I would say, you know, I am powerful. My body is capable. I am strong, stuff like that. And when you speak stuff into existence enough, you will start to believe it, and it will come true. So your words have a lot of power, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. So just be careful when you're telling yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, or saying stuff like that out loud. When you repeat that over and over again, you're subconsciously killing your own spirit.
And I know the whole manifestation thing gets a little annoying, the over exaggeration, but you know, you are very similar to a computer in a lot of ways, and you're always constantly programming yourself, either from what you're consuming, your self-talk, the imaginative thoughts that you have, the way you reflect on the world, the way you observe it. It's very important to make sure that the way you are looking at the world and the way you're talking to yourself, you're talking to others, that is so important to your growth, because you don't understand that most of the time you're just subconsciously randomly reacting. Very few times are you actually being yourself. Are you discarding the mask and actually articulating thoughts and thinking about something in particular? A lot of the time you're just regurgitating what you've already experienced and understood. So it's very important to be attentive to your self-talk, your understanding, and those things of that nature to grow and adapt and become a new person. Because a lot of things could be built up trauma, PTSD, things from the past that you don't even remember, the experiences you don't remember in your adolescence. And there's always an opportunity to adjust your personality, your understanding. Even on a genetic level, there's something called epigenetics. Through experience and understanding, you can change your genetic predisposition. You can become someone completely different over time. So don't ever let the past dim you too much. There's always an opportunity to change and grow.
I think that sometimes we don't understand how powerful we are just as human beings. Our words, our mind, your mind is so powerful. Your thoughts, your everything. Something I've been doing lately, I say the word like a lot, and I didn't realize it until we were doing a podcast, and the clip had me saying like 17,000 times. And I was so disgusted with myself that now when I talk, if you ever hear me pause, it's because I was going to say the word like, but I'm making myself not. I am trying very hard to not use filler words. And you will see the difference in the way you talk. You sound a lot more almost intelligent and
articulate.
Articulate, and you're able to, how do they say it? You're well-spoken. Mm-hmm. And I want to be a well-spoken person. That's a goal I have for myself. I want to be well-spoken. I'm only very well-spoken when I have a written down speech that I sit up there and say, and I've memorized it. I'm trying to be very well-spoken and use good language. You don't need to use or like. You genuinely don't need those words unless you're doing a simile.
We've been trying very hard to be well-spoken this time. So
I've tried. I don't think I've said like a lot.
You've done a great job.
I'm like, see, I wanted to say like but then I stopped myself. Like see what you did to me?
You corrupted yourself. Self-talk. Like we were talking about,
My dad, my sisters say bruh, and my dad's like, if you say that fucking word again, I'm gonna throw you. My nephew, he's 10, and he bruh all the time. I'm like, I'm not your bruh. Don't fucking call me that. Like, we were playing football with them the other day, guys, and I was very good.
I was so proud of her.
I did this thing where I caught the ball, but I dropped it, but I caught it before it hit the ground, and I did a roll and like bobbled it, but I still had it. Oh, it was great. And then I caught an interception, and we so wish we recorded it. I'm so mad we didn't, because I was just freaking, what's a good receiver I can call myself? Like CeeDee Lamb.
Wide receiver. Bitch. She's a good one.
I meant like a person. I don't understand what that means. What are you trying to say?
Just saying you're really good at receiving. That's all.
I am.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Good at it.
She was like Julian Edelman. You guys remember in the Super Bowl, Patriots versus Falcons, Julian Edelman caught a catch over the middle where he's like, and then brought it in.
I do remember that.
That was what she did.
I did.
And then it was 6-6. Next score wins. Okay.
We came back. Let me
3-1. We were down 3-1.
From 3. Yeah, we were 3-1. We were 1.
Yeah.
It was me and him versus my sister's boyfriend and my nephew.
Her dad was throwing like Dak Prescott early on. Okay. It was pissing me off. But she caught an interception. Like, it was 6-6. Next score wins. They had the ball over the middle. She caught a pick, and it was great. And I, of course, I caught the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, because my dad wouldn't throw it to me because he was scared I wouldn't catch it.
He was trying to win.
You could tell he was saying, he's like, your dad wanted to give you the ball, but you could tell when it was time to win, he did not throw it to you.
Yeah, he did not. Yeah, it was funny.
Would consider myself athletic, but when it comes to catching and throwing, I'm not as good as my siblings are.
Yeah, she's very stiff, and
I was very good at gymnastics though.
Yeah.
I'm very agile in that way. Like I was rolling around on the floor like I was freaking 15.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like basketball, football. She looks very weird when she does it, but she can shoot really well at basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. I don't know why. I've never been the best at throwing and catching and that kind of stuff. Maybe I just didn't practice enough. I wasn't very interested in it. My brother and my sister, what?
I just thought of the worst joke ever.
I'm sure you did. My brother and then my sister right underneath me, are very good at, they were good at football, baseball, softball, all that stuff. I was more good at dance, gymnastics, that kind of stuff. I personally think I would be very good at soccer. I just never tried it. I was very intimidated when I was in high school. I had really good friends who were so good at soccer, and I wanted to try out, but I never really did because I didn't want to like make a fool out of myself. If I could go back in high school, so if anyone's in high school and watching this, play any sport and don't give a shit what anyone else thinks, I would try soccer. My mom is very good at soccer, but when we play in the yard, I don't look weird like that. I play good soccer. If you're in a long distance relationship with someone and you find out that he or she is catfishing, what would you do in this case? Not talk to them again.
Yeah, leave them.
If they're catfishing you, they're a liar, and you don't want to be with liars.
If someone's deceiving you and you notice that on the very first date, you should probably never talk to them again. There's no excuse for deception in a beginning stage of a relationship. Now later.
Yeah. Huh? What does that mean?
Nothing. What, are you going to hit me?
No. Another red flag is if someone lies about something that you don't need to lie about.
Yeah.
If they're lying about stupid stuff that you like, you don't have to lie about that. Pathological liar, walk away.
The only place they should be lying is in bed with you. That's facts right there. So.
That's facts right there, bro. It's facts. Oh my God, it's facts. The truth. Andrew, no. Stop right now.
All right. Now that she's starting. This is the end. This is the end. This is the end right now.
Well, that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching Beauty and the Bold. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, comment what you think below. Anything else?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.